Okay, so we're back with World War One. I've been trying to get these out as fast as I can. Well, not really as fast as I can, but I've been trying to get them out. So, as a quick recap on our last couple episodes, we need to remember that World War One started because of the assassination. And in my opinion, that's how it started. And in my opinion, that's also why World War II started. Because the only reason why there was a World War II was because there was a World War One. Okay. I think when we left off, I said when the Germans, so for their Schlieffen plan, that's what they called it, and their idea was if we just strike fast and swift, we'll catch them off guard, and we'll capture them, and we'll capture France in weeks. They weren't planning for months, weeks. And keep in mind, there's no trenches yet. So, on August 6th, now it's been a couple of weeks since the assassination, and Austria-Hungary finally declares war on Russia. So Russia mobilizes their troops. They just declared war on us. We have to get our troops done now. We have to get them mobilized. We have to get all of their armor. Not armor, this isn't... we have to get all their uniforms, rifles, everything. We have to get it all towards Austria-Hungary. But notice when Austria-Hungary joins and fights against Russia, Germany decides to fight against Russia. And I just hate that. Because as Germany made it a world war, it was not a world war until Germany made it a world war. It was just Austria-Hungary versus Serbia. Serbia and Austria-Hungary dish it out, fight over it. I mean, granted, I think that Austria-Hungary probably would have won. Even after, when they were attacking the main city, it took them days, and they didn't even kill hardly any of them. Now, August 22nd. So you have August 6th. Now we're on to August 22nd. You have the Battle of the Frontiers. This is a battle between Germany and France. And this is where we will see some of the most deaths starting in this war. At the Battle of the Frontiers, we see 27,000 French die. On a single day. The only idea was the Germans are almost Paris. They are within miles of Paris. So France cannot continue to play defense. They decide to attack, which fails. Like I said, resulting in 27,000 French dead on the first day. And not only that, but as soon as 27,000 die, that's not even the total amount, that's just the first day. The total amount is not exactly known. On August 26th to the 30th, though, the German army attacks again, but not on France. This time on Russia. See, the German army, so they send 2 generals in, or 2 guys to lead the army. Erich Ludendorff and Paul von Hindenburg. And this is what sometimes I consider to be one of the greatest victories of World War I. on the Eastern Front. And keep in mind, so the Eastern Front is the front with Germany and Russia. The Western is between Germany, France, and Britain, mainly. Some Irish in there. And they achieved this greatest... I mean, so many Russians are dead that once again, they don't know how many. And this was on the Eastern Front against Russia at the Battle of Tannenberg. It was a massacre, basically. But to get out of that, the next month. Now, the war's been going on for almost a month now, about a month. It's September 5th, and the First Battle of Marne begins. This is against the Germans and the French. They've only been pushing. The Germans have only been pushing for weeks. They're almost to Paris. And the First Battle of Marne stops the German invasion of France. So they have been constantly pushing, defeating Germany, and then stopped. Now, on the 15th of September, this is when the Western Front gets to be ugly. This is when the trenches are dug. Only on the Western Front, though, not the Eastern yet. Now, see, as soon as the Allies, Britain and France, they start digging in, so then Germans think, oh, hey, they're digging in, we better dig in. And I'm going to say this. The German trenches were actually a lot nicer. Most of the British and the French trenches, their commanders that had them dig it said, oh, we will only be here for a couple weeks, maybe a month. Doesn't have to be pretty. The Germans figured years. Some of theirs even had toilets, running toilets. Very few closer towards the end of the war, but at the beginning. So now it is actually a stalemate. They're pushing. All they can do is just shoot. They're not accomplishing anything. Now to skip ahead, to end this, I'm going to talk about December 25th, the unofficial Christmas truce. It was declared by the soldiers on the Western Front. Now, the idea was the British and the Germans come out and, they unite together and, talk, have some fun, play some rugby, soccer, football. That's what I meant to say. Now, I don't mean to squash anyone's hopes, but there isn't action, or who knows? There's no evidence that this happened. It's not written down in journals or anything. But after this happened for like a day, they were friends, the two Germans. And they might have stayed that way. But for some reason, it almost seems like the generals said, no, we're not going to let this end. We're not going to let this war end yet. We don't want it to end yet. So the Germans went over the top towards the British trench. And one thing about over the top, that's basically running into no man's land. You're in the open with a machine gun pointing at you in a line. There's a lot of you, yeah, but a lot of you can die fast. So as some veterans said, if anyone ever said that they went over the top, and they weren't scared. From their description, they were a damn liar. There's no chance. So I'm not saying that the Christmas truce wasn't real, but as soon as the Germans came charging over the trench, the British were forced to slaughter their friends.